No one teaches you about this. No one warns you how silently it enters your life. Because this addiction doesn't look dangerous in the beginning. There are no needles, no bottles, no smell, no visible scars. Just a screen, a phone, a laptop, and privacy. It usually starts with curiosity. You're young, or bored, or lonely, or stressed. Someone mentions it. A friend laughs about it. A link appears. A thumbnail catches your eye. You tell yourself it's normal. Everyone does it. It's harmless, just once. And at that moment, you don't realize that your brain is recording everything. The excitement, the rush, the pleasure. Your brain doesn't care about morals. It only remembers rewards. That first time feels intense, different, almost magical. And that's how the trap opens. Slowly, quietly, without asking for permission. At first, it's occasional. Once a week, then twice. Then whenever you feel bored. Bad day, porn. Stressed, porn. Can't sleep. Porn, lonely, porn. You don't even notice the pattern forming, because on the surface, life looks normal. You go to school, you go to work, you talk to people, you smile. But inside, something starts to change. Your brain begins to crave that same feeling again. Not happiness, not peace, not connection. Just that quick dopamine hit. And dopamine is powerful. Dopamine is the chemical of desire. It's not about pleasure. It's about wanting more. Every time you watch, your brain learns one thing. This is an easy reward. No effort, no rejection, no risk. Just click, scroll, and consume. Your brain loves efficiency, so it starts choosing porn over everything else. Real conversations feel boring. Real relationships feel complicated. Real effort feels exhausting. Why try when you can escape? And this is where the silent damage begins. You don't notice it immediately, but slowly, your motivation drops. You wake up tired. Your focus weakens. Your goals feel distant. You promise yourself you'll stop. From tomorrow, from next week, from next month. But tomorrow comes, and the urge is still there. Stronger, because now it's no longer a choice, it's a habit. And habits don't need permission, they just happen. You start hiding it. Clearing history, using private mode, locking doors, waiting for everyone to sleep. Secrecy becomes part of the routine. And secrecy creates shame. You feel guilty after watching. You tell yourself you're weak, undisciplined, broken. But the next urge doesn't care about your guilt. It only wants relief. So you give in again and again and again. This is how the cycle forms. Urge, action, temporary relief, guilt, promise to quit, urge again. Over time, the content changes. What excited you before feels boring now. So your brain asks for more. More novelty, more intensity, more extreme stimulation. Not because you're a bad person, but because your brain has adapted. Just like drugs need higher doses, porn needs stronger stimulation. And this is when many people get scared. They think, why am I watching this? This isn't who I am. But addiction doesn't reflect your values. It hijacks your reward system. And while all this is happening, no one can see it. From the outside, you look fine. From the inside, you feel trapped. You avoid eye contact. You feel less confident. You compare yourself constantly. You start seeing people not as humans, but as images. And that affects how you connect with the real world. Real intimacy feels harder. Emotions feel muted. Joy feels weaker. Nothing excites you the same way anymore. So you go back to the one thing that still gives you a rush. Porn. And this is the most dangerous part. Not because of what you're watching, but because of what you're losing. Your time, your energy, your self-respect, your potential. Hours disappear. Days pass, years go by. And one day you stop and ask yourself, How did I end up here? You never planned this. You never wanted to depend on a screen to feel okay. But here you are, trying to quit, failing, trying again, failing again. And each failure hurts your confidence a little more. You start believing you can't change, that this is just who you are now. But that belief is wrong, because what you're experiencing isn't weakness. It's conditioning. Your brain has been trained, and anything that is trained, or can be untrained. But before change can happen, one thing must happen first. Honesty. You must stop lying to yourself. This is not just a habit. This is not harmless entertainment. This is something that is controlling you, and control always comes at a cost. In the next part, we'll talk about the damage no one warned you about, the mental effects, the emotional numbness, the confidence loss, the relationships that silently suffer, and why willpower alone is never enough. Because understanding the enemy is the first step to defeating it. And for the first time, you're not running anymore. You're facing it. Most people think the damage is obvious. They think it's only about what you watch. But the real damage happens much deeper. It happens quietly, inside your mind, shaping how you think, feel, and live. And that's why so many people stay trapped for years without realizing what's really happening to them. At first, you don't connect the dots. You just notice that something feels off. You feel tired even after sleeping, unmotivated even when you have goals, empty even when life seems fine. You blame stress. You blame work. You blame school. You blame everything except the real cause. But porn addiction slowly rewires the brain. It trains your mind to seek instant pleasure instead of long-term satisfaction. And that changes everything. Your attention span starts to shrink. Simple tasks feel boring. Studying feels unbearable. Working on goals feels pointless. Your brain keeps asking the same question. Where's the reward? And when the reward doesn't come instantly, you lose interest. That's why you procrastinate more. That's why you start things but don't finish them. That's why discipline feels impossible. Because discipline requires delayed gratification, and porn destroys your ability to wait. Then comes the confidence damage. You may not notice it at first, but slowly, your self-image begins to crack. You avoid social situations. You feel awkward around people. You doubt yourself more than before. You stop feeling present. When you talk to someone, your mind drifts. When you look in the mirror, you feel disappointed. Not because you don't have potential, but because you know you're wasting it. And nothing hurts confidence more than knowing you're not living up to your own standards. Shame becomes your constant companion. Not loud shame, quiet shame. The kind that whispers, you're fake. You're weak. You don't deserve better. You laugh with people, but inside you feel disconnected. You succeed in small things, but you don't feel proud. Because deep down, there's a secret you're carrying, and secrets isolate you. Then comes emotional numbness. This is one of the most dangerous effects. You stop feeling deeply. Music doesn't hit the same. Achievements feel empty. Moments that should feel special feel dull. Your emotional range shrinks, not because life lost meaning, but because your brain has been overstimulated. Porn floods your brain with dopamine at unnatural levels, so normal life can't compete. And when normal life can't compete, it feels boring. This is when people start chasing more stimulation, more scrolling, more videos, more junk content, more escape. But the emptiness only grows. Relationships suffer next. Even if you don't realize it, you may want connection, but you fear intimacy. Real relationships require vulnerability, effort, patience, communication. Porn requires none of that. So your brain prefers the easy path. You may start comparing real people to unrealistic standards. You may feel less attracted to real connection. You may feel anxious, awkward, or uninterested. And this creates distance. You want closeness, but you don't know how to feel it anymore. Some people enter relationships hoping it will fix the addiction, but it doesn't. Because porn addiction isn't about lack of sex. It's about emotional escape. And if you don't fix the escape, you'll carry it into every relationship. Then comes the loss of direction. You stop dreaming big. Not because you don't want more, but because you don't trust yourself. You've broken too many promises to yourself. I'll stop tomorrow. I'll quit this week. I'll change this month. And every broken promise chips away at self-belief. Eventually, you stop making promises. You settle. You lower your standards. You accept a smaller life. Not because you're incapable, but because you're tired of failing. This is the real tragedy, not the addiction itself, but the life it slowly steals from you. Your time disappears. Hours turn into days. Days turn into years. And one day you realize you've been busy escaping life instead of building it. Now here's something important. Most people think the solution is willpower. They tell themselves, I just need to be stronger. I just need more discipline. I just need motivation. But if willpower was enough, you would have quit already. The truth is, willpower is weak when the environment is strong. Your phone is always with you. Triggers are everywhere. Stress is unavoidable. Loneliness happens. And your brain remembers exactly where relief comes from. This isn't a fair fight. You're fighting years of conditioning with pure intention. That's why relapse happens. Not because you don't want to change, but because you're fighting the wrong way. Every relapse hurts. You feel disappointed, angry at yourself, hopeless. You may even think, what's the point of trying? This is the moment many people give up. They stop trying to quit. They accept the addiction as part of their identity. And that's the most dangerous lie. Because addiction is not who you are. It's something that happened to you. And what happened can be undone. But not with shame, not with self-hatred, not with unrealistic expectations. Real change begins with understanding. Understanding how your brain works. Understanding why urges appear. Understanding how to rebuild control step by step. In the next part, we will talk about the way out. Not motivation, not fake positivity, but a real system, a realistic path to recovery. How to regain control, how to handle urges, how to rebuild confidence, how to forgive yourself and move forward. Because freedom isn't about never falling again. It's about learning how to stand back up. And this time, you won't be walking blindly. You'll be walking with clarity. Recovery does not start with motivation. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you feel strong. Some days you feel empty. Some days you feel hopeless. If recovery depended on motivation, no one would ever escape. Real recovery starts with a shift in understanding. You are not broken. Your brain is not damaged forever. You have not ruined your life. You have a brain that learned a pattern. And patterns can be changed. The first mistake people make is believing they must fight urges head-on. They think recovery means constant resistance, constant struggle, constant tension. But fighting urges directly only makes them stronger. Because what you resist emotionally, your brain focuses on. The goal is not to fight urges. The goal is to outgrow them. And that begins with separating who you are from what you feel. An urge is not a command. It is a sensation, a wave. And like all waves, it rises and falls. You don't need to obey it. You don't need to suppress it. You just need to stop identifying with it. Instead of saying, "I need this," you learn to say, "I'm experiencing an urge." That small difference changes everything. Because now, the urge is something happening to you, not something controlling you. Next comes honesty. Real honesty, not shame, not self-attack. Honesty without judgment. You stop lying to yourself. You admit the truth. This habit is harming me. It's stealing my energy. It's keeping me small. Not with anger, but with clarity. Clarity removes confusion. Confusion is what keeps addiction alive. Then comes environment. This is where most people fail. They try to change their behavior without changing their surroundings. But behavior is shaped by environment. Your brain follows the path of least resistance. If temptation is one click away, your brain will choose it. So recovery means removing easy access, not because you're weak, but because you're smart. You don't rely on willpower when you can rely on structure. You reduce isolation. You reduce late-night scrolling. You reduce being alone with triggers for long periods. You don't aim for perfection. You aim for friction. Every small barrier gives your rational brain time to wake up. And time is powerful because urges are impulsive. They hate delay. Now comes the most important shift. You stop seeing recovery as deprivation. You stop thinking, "I'm giving something up." Instead, you start asking, "What am I building?" Addiction thrives in emptiness. If your life has no purpose, the brain will seek pleasure. So recovery requires direction. Not big dreams at first, simple structure. You rebuild your days, wake-up times, sleep times, movement, work, learning, rest. Structure calms the brain. Chaos feeds addiction. You begin doing hard things on purpose, not extreme things, simple, hard things. Waking up when you don't feel like it, moving your body even when it's uncomfortable, finishing tasks you usually avoid. Each small win sends a message to your brain. I'm in control. And control rebuilds confidence. Confidence doesn't come from positive thinking. It comes from evidence, proof. You also learn to sit with discomfort. This is where real growth happens. Because addiction numbs discomfort, recovery requires feeling again, boredom, loneliness, anxiety, restlessness. These feelings are not enemies. They are signals. They tell you where your life needs attention. Instead of escaping them, you listen. What am I actually feeling? What am I avoiding? What do I need right now? Sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's connection. Sometimes it's purpose. Sometimes it's self-forgiveness. Yes, forgiveness. Because carrying shame slows recovery. Shame says, "You're bad." Responsibility says, "You can change." You take responsibility without self-hatred. You stop counting streaks like your worth depends on them. You stop seeing relapse as failure. Relapse is feedback. It shows you what still needs healing. Every relapse teaches you something. A trigger you ignored, an emotion you avoided, a boundary you didn't set. You learn from it, and you move forward. Progress is not linear. Freedom is built through patience. Slowly, something begins to change. Urges lose intensity, not because you fight them, but because your brain is learning new rewards, real rewards. Completion, strength, presence, peace. You start feeling proud again, not loudly, quietly. And quiet pride is powerful. You start trusting yourself again. That trust changes how you walk, how you speak, how you look at the future. You realize something important. You were never addicted to pleasure. You were addicted to escape. And now, you're learning how to face life instead of running from it. This is not the end of the journey, but it is the turning point. Before we step into the next year, ask yourself this. The worst addiction you might be carrying forward isn't visible, but it's real. It's the addiction to pornography.